You guys remember that? The Warenberg Theaters, you remember that shit? Welcome, guys. Today is September 15th. Today is warm. It's 90 degrees outside. 90 degrees this whole week. They're saying that it could rain around 4, but then they're saying that it could not rain around 4, but it could rain tomorrow. But it also could not rain tomorrow. So who knows, guys? How was your weekend, everyone? How was your Monday morning? Let's see, because we're in the PM, right? And even if you're on the West Coast here, you've finally caught up. And depending on when you watch this, too. And I know that there's people from other countries that watch. I saw that. I've actually talked to some of you guys. Shout out from the U.S. So anyways, guys, did your teams win yesterday? Did they lose? I feel like the Cowboys sort of almost lost. One of your comments was the Cowboys had my Giants, and so they should have no problem. As Eminem would say, you know, the electrician, they were light work, but they were not. Russell Wilson looked like Russ, you know what I'm saying? Looked like Sierra said, boy, you don't get nothing unless you score 4 touchdowns. Important, no, but what did he have? He had like 2 tutties or 3 tutties. I mean, I think Neighbors scored twice, and that other cat scored. Robinson scored once. I mean, they were killing it yesterday. He had like 450 yards passing. Kind of shows you that Micah Parsons was a little more important than just pass rushing, because when you have a pass rush, guys, the ball's got to come out quicker. You're able to take more risk and stuff and try to jump routes, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, so the Cowboys won yesterday. It was a crazy game. 41 points in the fourth quarter. Dallas would go down, and they'd come back, and then they'd be down. Aubrey, if you didn't see, kicked a 64-yarder with lots of leg left to go into overtime. And then it was just kind of boring there, kind of back and forth. And then I felt like the Giants imploded at the end with the backward screen pass, and then losing the ball or throwing the ball backwards lateral, and having to punt when you know that the Cowboys kicker can make it from outside the stadium. A lot of stuff happened yesterday, though. So that Green Bay-Washington game, Green Bay ended up winning. I picked them. Jacksonville at Cincinnati, I picked Cincinnati to win, but 31-27 is a little close, guys. And now Joe Burrow could be out for several weeks with a turf toe injury. Turf toe is no joke. I remember when old Dion had turf toe, he was out all the time. So Chicago and Detroit. Detroit beat the snot out of Chicago. That's just what they do, especially good teams coming off a loss, guys. That's just, it's hard to beat them, you know. Los Angeles at Tennessee, picked the Rams to beat Tennessee. That happened. Miami, I picked to beat New England. New England's killing it, guys. And then the Colts, I'm skipping down here, but Daniel Jones, man. Not the Colts, what did that say? The first team to not punt in their first 2 games. I don't know how long, if ever. Baltimore smacked up on Cleveland. I was surprised that Derrick Henry only had like 29 yards and he fumbled one, especially coming off of week 1 where that fumble really cost them the game, in my opinion. Other things, too. Niners, New Orleans was a really close game. Mac Jones, 279 yards. Alvin Kamara, 99 yards rushing. Guys, am I missing any of them here? Buffalo at the Jets. I think we all had Buffalo probably winning that. Pittsburgh at Seattle. I had Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers really looked like the old Aaron Rodgers and not the old Aaron Rodgers this week, you know, as they say. Baltimore, got into that one. Indianapolis talked about. Arizona, guys, we picked them to beat Carolina, and that's what they did. Atlanta won last night, 22-6. The Chiefs and the Eagles, Super Bowl rematch. What do I think of that? I think Kelsey has knocked 2 balls in the air that he should have caught. This one went for a pick. Last week in that game, he kind of stopped during the route, and he could have just walked it right in. I'm not really sure what's going on, unless it's he's lost that step, which, guys, he's older, and he has not been the same player in 2 or 3 years, but he's still a heck of a player. The tush push, what do I think of it? You know, if something's legal, do it. And I would say go for it, keep doing it, do it forever until they to figure out how to stop it or make it illegal. However, it's not fair at all when you're allowing the offensive tackles to false start and jump early all the time. Guys, that was an issue last year. That was one of the reasons. It wasn't even about health as much as it was the push tush is just very hard. The tush push is hard to officiate. Yesterday the ball got ripped out, but it's like, where was forward progress stopped? Now, would I have called that a fumble? No, but if it really was a fumble, who would have known? Because it has to be inconclusive. It has to be, there's bodies upon bodies, and if they blow that dead there and then they fumble, that's positive for the offense because now it's blown dead. Or if they're pushing forward and instead of blowing it dead after it's been stopped, which they do several times, allow them to keep pushing. So they're stopped, it's stopped, and then all of a sudden linemen readjust, whatever, and then those guys get pushed. That was funny. So good old, knock my Yeti off. And I'm not going to delete that. I actually think that's kind of funny. However, I popped the top off, not the top, but the for the slider piece. So I'm going to pause it and find that guy. I'm back, guys. This fella right here. And again, I'm not going to edit that out because it's freaking kind of hilarious. But anyways, I knocked this dude over. And this guy, it's just held on by a magnet because you can change them. Well, she shot out of here. So anyways, it's really hard when you're allowing people to break the rules. And I know last year, a lot of people were like, Chiefs, refs. And 74 he's always false starting too for Kansas City, their right tackle. It's like, is it Peters? Is that his name? I don't know. But anyways, guys, there's 2 games on tonight, which, what do you think about that? We got Tampa Bay at Houston. Talked about that one, guys. We got Baker Mayfield, C.J. Stroud. Who's going to win that game? I feel like the Texans have got a lot of running backs. Even though they're kind of older, at one time they were really, really good. I don't know. Baker did very well last year. He seems like he's at home and Tampa. Mike Evans is awesome. That being said, I just think the Houston Texans are a very good team. It's hard for me to pick Houston because, it's just, I always think about, how bad they've always been. But then it's like, C.J. Stroud, this, that. I'm picking them to win tonight. And then we've got the Chargers of Los Angeles versus the Raiders of Las Vegas. Or San Diego, Oakland, or Los Angeles, or no, it's Los Angeles, Las Vegas, guys. The Chargers may be one of the best teams in the NFL. I think Harbaugh is probably one of the top coaches in the NFL. I think he's one of the top coaches, period. He's a motivator. He's intelligent when it comes to play calling and circumstance football. Herbert is coming around. You guys have got some really good receivers. I feel like Keenan Allen being back is going to be a big deal. And then just your defense isn't that bad. The Raiders are not going to win. Ashton Genty is one of my favorite players coming out of college. Just how can you not like that dude? He's a freaking beast. But we're going Los Angeles Chargers all the way tonight. I know that'll make Braden happy. Shout out to Koji. Guys, that's about it on that. Friday Night Lights, my high school one. So that was pretty cool. But looks like I got maybe a customer coming in, guys. So we're going to finish up. Just want to let everybody know that I hope you have an enjoyable Monday, a great week. And I'll see you soon, okay? We'll do a review on some jewelry.